Hi, this is Regina Y Favors with Overcoming Setback series, and so I want to talk about how you should work through the 7 stages of setback. So this is going to give you an introduction to the 7 stages of setback that I created myself, and they are fully explored in my book Overcoming Setback: 5 Keys for Entering, Exiting, Correction. And so it's all about the correction process. To exit setback, you have to go through correction. And to go through correction, you have to receive instruction in order to advance, because instruction or correction is just another form of instruction. And you cannot exit setback without some sort of mentoring, some guiding, listening to your conscience, receiving instruction to move you forward. So this is Overcoming Setback series, working through the 7 stages of setback. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in further audio lessons, hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. So the 7 stages of setback, this is an introduction to the correction process. And yes, it is focusing on setback, but the goal is to overcome setback. And again, the only way that you can overcome setback is through correction. So the 7 stages of setback include the following: missed opportunity, punishment, pain, correction, recovery, restoration, and advance. And so throughout this audio lesson, we're going to go through each stage of setback. So stage number 1 is missed opportunity, and that is basically disregarding rules. And a lot of times people think obeying rules or adhering to rules is optional. And it is optional in the sense that you have free will. But if you ever want to overcome your setback, you're going to have to obey a rule. You're going to have to obey a law. You're going to have to respect and honor an instruction. So this is stage number 1, missed opportunity, disregarding rules. So the missed opportunity is something many people often voice when they realize after the fact that they should have gone down a different path. They were warned and instructed to go one way, but they decided to go a different route, which often led to trouble, misunderstanding, negative consequences, and missed opportunities. So a lot of times when you are on one path and you're going down that road, sometimes we bring in distractions to keep us to kick us off that initial path, and then we make a decision that basically suggests we don't really need that path anymore, because we go on another path and we find much more immediate success. But then you miss the opportunity to learn on the initial path, because wherever you go down the road, you're going to need all of those skills and knowledge and wisdom and thinking and understanding to still be able to apply what it is you have to apply. And so you can also miss opportunities in your missed opportunities. To miss something is to fail to notice, hear, or understand something that was crucial for you to know, meaning that there's an ultimate crossroads for each person, but then there are many crossroads along the way, that there are shifts and turns in life, and that people are doors. And a lot of times we don't want to respect the person who is giving us the message. So we say, well, I don't have to listen to that person. But God oftentimes uses people to dole out instruction. He may use a minister. He may use a friend, he may use a parent. He may use anybody he wants to use in order to get instruction to you. And if you don't obey that instruction and walk through that door of that messenger, you may not be able to get whatever it is that you were trying to get. And you can't confuse success in some other area with the main thing you should be doing. Everyone, despite any individual belief system or moral or ethical implication, misses an opportunity. So we can all sort of say, if we use our lives in high school, elementary school as just personal anecdotes, personal narratives, how many times have there been an opportunity for us to study and do better in a class? And that's on a very basic level. How many times have we known better what to do in terms of going forward with a decision, but we procrastinated. So we all have missed an opportunity. If I suggest that you missed an opportunity, and I'm thinking about this in terms of doesn't apply to me, because a lot of people love to say when you give them some instruction about something or you give them some sort of direction, they love to say, okay, but that doesn't apply to me, right? So one of the first doesn't apply to me always has to do with religion, God, spiritual. If I suggest that you missed an opportunity because you did not obey a command from God or an instruction through a person whom God used to instruct you, you might say that doesn't apply to me. I don't believe in God, so you can't put that on me. That's one of the first ones, because I think it's the major go-to for everybody, because people immediately feel some kind of oppression when they are required to obey, when they are required to honor an instruction, or when they are required to honor authority. And the authority is usually represented by the person, or it can be represented in the law. And so their immediate go-to is the moral, religious, ethical. That doesn't apply to me. Here is another one. If I suggest that you missed an opportunity because you did not obey the rules of your field, industry, and or profession, then you might say rules are made to be broken. We live in a democracy, so a little challenge never hurt anybody. It is my right granted to me by my government. And that last line comes from the Purge series. I just sort of love that line. But if you then say, okay, say for instance, you don't believe in God, okay, but you got to believe in rules. You got to believe in some kind of regulations or something like that. You can't say to your boss when you come back from lunch late every time, oh, that doesn't apply to me. The rules to clock in early, clock in on time after you come back from lunch, or just when you arrive to work, that doesn't apply to me. Okay, after a while, you're not going to have a job. You can't speed and pass the speed limit sign, and then the cop pulls you over and says you were speeding, and here's the ticket. You can't say to the cop, that doesn't apply to me. It does apply to you. Whether you know that law or not, you still got signs on the road. So that's another doesn't apply to me. If I suggest that you missed an opportunity because you did not respect a person's individual liberty and or right to freedom of expression under the U.S. Constitution, you might say, well, I have rights too. You can't infringe on my liberty either. I feared for my life. I was just protecting myself. And you hear this a lot of times with the sort of cultural wars, racial wars, that one group believes it's okay to oppress another and think that the oppressed group should be okay with that. And then when the oppressed group decides to fight back, then the oppressor group is confused. They don't think that the right, that each person has a right to individual liberty and right to freedom of expression, regardless of skin tone. And so you can't say that doesn't apply to me, because you have laws on the books that protect the civil rights of individuals. So people often create an immediate setback when they don't adhere to an instruction, don't like the laws, and decide to disobey them, and then oppress people in their individual rights and freedoms. So you must have a respect for rules. If you are going to get out of setback, overcome setback, you must have a respect for rules. Inherent in any decision you make is the respect you must have for rules, law, ethical decision making. It does not matter what you believe about the value of instruction and rules. It only matters that you obey and respect an instruction, because if you fail to do that, then you should equally expect setback. The moment you disrespect an instruction or miss an instruction is the same moment you have created a setback for yourself. If you really want to understand how important it is to respect rules, and how when you don't, you create an immediate setback, visit someone in prison, visit someone in a jailhouse, visit someone who is bound in any kind of form or fashion. Visit someone who is struggling with drugs. Visit someone who is struggling with a partner. Uh, if you really want to understand what respect for rules is, because even most people get into drugs out of simple curiosity or someone introduces them to drugs, but their conscience tells them immediately this is not a good thing to do. That's a rule. It may not be a person necessarily saying it out loud to you, but a lot of times it is too. And so the moment you disrespect an instruction or miss an instruction is the same moment you have created a setback for yourself. And I want you to let that sink in. If you don't have respect for rules, no matter where you are, and if you are successful in another area, to me, that is really skipping. But somewhere, I have to even admit myself that somewhere, if you are successful and you did things the right way and in order, then you were willing to follow the rules on that particular path. But the path that you were initially on still has unfinished business in a sense. That's why you see people oftentimes who are rich end up committing suicide. And I think to myself, okay, well, you got the money. And I think about that naively, because that's how everybody else thinks. That, okay, you got the money, so you should be happy. Because they're not happy. That whatever they were doing initially, that was what they were supposed to be doing, but it wasn't paying enough money and it wasn't fast enough. And so they got off that path and got on another path and decided to pursue that path and do all that they can, allocate all of their efforts to achieving or doing or becoming successful. And they were successful, but they are missing some wisdom and knowledge and understanding to apply. And so they don't have the same happiness that they would have had they stayed on the original path and just went slow. All right. Hopefully you gained some insight from this stage of setback. Like, subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for more discussions. You can visit YouTube for more content, Regina Y Favors channel. And on that channel are also sections for other YouTube channels I run. You can always send me an email, reginayfavors@yahoo.com. The book will become available October 2021, Overcoming Setback, 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction. Thank you for listening to this audio and visiting the channel. Have a great day.